Many of us believe that school is a scam because we come to school from 8 a.m. and sit down to sometimes 6 p.m. and we leave with little to no knowledge gained. Why did this happen? This is not because we are dumb or because we are slow learners. It's simply because the traditional mode of teaching does not cater for different learning styles. Deaf and blind students are usually left behind in the classes. I had the opportunity to witness this in my S2 class. We had a blind student, and she would always sit down at the back of the class. And whenever the lesson starts, she would sleep from the beginning to the end. I was so curious. One day, I mustered the courage and I walked up to her. I asked her, why do you sleep during classes? And she was like, well, I don't feel included during the classes. When the lecturers are teaching, they write on the board. I can't pick up a single thing that they write on the board because I am blind. I felt so bad. I can attest as a physical learner that no teacher or lecturer has been able to teach me. It's my individual learning style. Well, I don't blame the teachers. In a class of about 240 students, it would be an impossible feat to try to teach each student their individual learning style. At least, we all know how we are jam-packed into the classes. We all know. This is where virtual reality comes in. Virtual reality modernizes the learning process. And the way virtual reality works is that it can be very flexible depending on the programming. This means that it can be programmed to cater for different learning styles. This way, no one is left behind. Also, virtual reality encourages inclusivity through the use of VR augmented aids for the visually impaired and sign-aloud gloves for the auditory impaired. With the use of virtual reality, we can now focus on the practice and not just the theory of subjects. Also, it can be programmed into different languages to bridge the language barrier. According to a study conducted by the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, 70% of students attested to feeling bored during classes. However, 97% of students during the Dreambox National Survey agreed that they would attend a class facilitated by virtual reality. Sometimes, what a class needs is just a little bit of entertainment and some competition. Classes should be held in form of virtual reality videos. These videos will prevent distraction as each student will be in their own individual bubble. No one talking to the other because they are all immersed in what they are learning. Tests and exams can be done in form of VR games and challenges. I mean, just imagine it. It kind of blows your mind when you think about it. Many of us play VR games already. So why can't we do our exams in form of that? In that form. Okay. So how many of us have been in a boring class like I illustrated at the beginning of my speech? You know, the type of class where everyone is sleeping and the lecturer is like, wake everybody up. This problem can be easily solved when we bring in virtual reality into the equation. How does this work in practice? 360 VR. This type of VR is most commonly used in the educational system, you can say. With this type of VR, real-world locations are captured by specialist cameras and taken back to the studio, where they can be transformed into VR content. That can be viewed on VR headsets and gadgets. When we talk about VR, the inclusion of VR into the educational system will provide us with a feeling of actually being there. This is what what we mean when we talk about immersion. Also, as students, we learn to hear so much about different places, different events. We can't really connect to it. You hear, oh, there was a bombing at so place. You don't even know what a bombing really looks like. You don't know what it feels like. But just imagine, with the use of VR, as students, we can watch the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As law students, we could watch the signing of the Magna Carta or the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Medical students could watch live Ben Carson operating on the Siamese swans. All this and more from the comforts of your classroom. I mean, why aren't you doing this yet? Also, when we utilize virtual reality in the learning process, there won't be any students getting distracted at the back of the class. We will all be in the middle of the game. We will all be in the middle. Like in the Squid Game, in red lights, green lights. All in the middle of the action. Finally, this is a car from the 1800s. No, right? Yeah, it's wonderful. But this is a car from 2021. Shiny, beautiful. This is a game from the 1800s. And this is a game from 2021. You can see some improvements. At least we can see quite a bit of improvements. But guess what? This is a classroom from the 1800s. And I'm disappointed to say this, but this is a class from 2020. This is an illustration of the redundancy of our educational system. So what can we do about this? As a nation, instead of holding on to the past with tight fists, we should be welcoming the future with open arms. This is the future that we are going to live in. Virtual reality is that future. I know some of you are going to say, but we're already imputing tablets and laptops and computers into classes. But I say to you, emerging economies like Nigeria, for instance, skipped the landline phrase. Or did any of you really have landlines in your houses? You know, those phones where you slide and all that and it's connected with the wire? We skipped the landline phrase and we went straight to the digital phones. So why can't we in education skip the laptops, projectors, tablets, and go straight to three-dimensional? Why can't we? See, I have given you a few ways in which virtual reality can profoundly impact education. It can encourage inclusivity. It can encourage inclusivity in classes. It can personalize the learning process. It can improve the focus of students. It transports us to different times and places. I've told you how virtual reality improves education. And it is only going to keep on evolving and getting better. But now, it is up to us, as future leaders, educators, creators, intellectuals, to think, how do we incorporate virtual reality into education and create a more educated and connected